Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Abby94, and you already know what it is. I'm back at it again with the back at it again with another recap. We've got into week 6. Ooh, it's so much to talk about. So you already know what you got to do. You got to stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. You already know who I am. My name is Abby, also known as the black girl who watches The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has just supported thus far. This season has been a roller coaster. It has been kind of all over the place with so many things, but I'm so appreciative to each and every one of you who continues to watch these. Like, y'all really showing the F out, and I'm just like, what's good? What's up? What's good? Make sure, as we're heading into this week 6 recap, that you do like, first of all, before anything else, you do, put in your favorites, put it in a playlist or something, and share it with your friends, because you already know I'm going to get into it. So thank you again, and without further ado, let's get into this mess, okay? So we open up the episode, and Becca and the guys, as we know from last week, they announced that they would be in Richmond, Virginia. Now, y'all know I said I was gonna drag it, because first of all, Bachelor producers, Bachelor interns, Bachelor people who plan the dates, whoever picks the locations, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? I need to know. I need a breakdown. I need your financials. I need a spreadsheet. I need to understand, with all of the money this show makes, why do they continue to send them on these budget ass dates? Like, no offense to anyone from Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to all my people on the East Coast. I fucks with you the long way, but there's just certain cities and certain towns, certain states that are just they're not for tourism. They're cool if you know a homegirl, somebody from there, but it's not somewhere you're going to take them on a nationally been around for years show that brings in millions of ratings every week. I know they're making money. That's not somewhere you take people, to get to fall in love. You know what I'm saying? Y'all start spending that money. We see Becca talking about what Richmond is going to mean for her guys and their relationships this episode. She's talking about how Richmond is the city of lovers, and we even get a clip of her freaking trying to spell out love in front of a big ass love sign, and she's, give me an L, give me an O, give me a V, give me a... She just... That was so damn corny, but that's how they open up the episode, to let us know that where they are this week is meant for lovers. It's meant to progress love, and that is why they chose it. The guys arrive at their hotel, and it's a really cool spot. Of course, they always try to put them up in some nice ass hotels, which I will give them a pointer for, but that's about it. It looks like everybody's pretty happy about their choice, and that this might be a really good chance to see these relationships progress. So we got to wait and see. So the first scene that we see is Becca and Chris Harrison. They're sitting down in what looks to be a coffee shop. They are discussing Becca's status with a lot of these men. Chris Harrison mentions how he feels like she looks super happy, and he feels super excited for her based on just the connections he's been, able to catch here and there with the guys that are still left. Becca definitely confirms his thoughts and says, you know what, Chris, I'm really excited with this group of guys. Like, I was a little nervous in the beginning, but I can definitely say that I feel like I have a strong group of men, and I'm giddy and I'm excited, and I'm really starting to feel those feelings of love that I felt before, and it's making me excited. And he was just like, That's what I like to hear, sis. Because Chris Harrison was just like, I could tell. I saw you on the plane here. You was over there looking at bridal magazines. I think I even saw you with two. And she was just like, whoa, Chris Harrison, like, don't be spilling my tea like that. Like, yes, I was looking at the bridal magazines, and yes, I was ripping out sheets, but you didn't have to let them know that. But she does confirm that she sees herself with the white picket fence. She sees kids now, and she gets excited, and it makes her think about kids in general, and she's just really speaking about very traditional, futuristic things with finding the right partner. And it seems like she really believes that a good guy and her guy could be in this group of men. So Chris is definitely egging her on and is telling her how excited he is for her, and also to just be super confident and be very pointed in how she's vetting these guys and just go for what she wants. The guys are all grouped around. They're waiting on a date card. So we know there's going to be a couple of dates. We don't know the kind of combination of what types of dates, but the guys are definitely speculating. We're hearing some guys saying how they would love a one-on-one. Leo is talking about how he doesn't know where they really stand. They've had bits of conversation, but he would love to secure some one-on-one time with her. We're also hearing Lincoln and Chris, they're very specific about wanting time with Becca and hoping that whatever the date card says will be something that benefits them. On the card, it does say Jason. Something about unexpected or surprises. He's going to be getting his first one-on-one of the season. Now, you would think that with that being announced, it would end there and Jason would go on his merry way and go get ready for this date. That is not the case. Out of nowhere, we're hearing Chris talking about, I really think I could get a one-on-one this week, and I honestly don't even care if it's a one-on-one. I would take a two-on-one too. It's just about me getting time to spend with her. It's about getting the most time to spend with her. And of course, the guy's entertaining his ass. Leo starts asking him, okay, you want a two-on-one? Who would you want to go on with? And Chris is like, I don't care who I go with. I'm confident and I just want that time with her. And that kind of progresses into Lincoln jumping in and saying, okay, I don't think you should think about it like a two-on-one or a one-on-one. You should be just confident and trying to get as much time as you can with Becca, and it should be about wanting to spend the most time with her. Chris is just like, okay, I wasn't really talking to you. I'm not talking about the type of date. I just want time with her. Like, I'm really not trying to argue with y'all, but it is what it is. I'm confident, and I feel like I just have a lot of things I want to discuss with her. Now, this just leads to Lincoln being like, okay, like, calm down, bro. Like, it's not that serious. I feel like you whining about it. You sound like a crybaby. And then Chris is like, I'm not a crybaby, but you need to mind your business. Then Lincoln was like, and that's why you used to be overweight. He said, fat bitch. And they're just going back and forth and back and forth. And at one point, it gets to the point where Chris like grazes Lincoln's arm, and Lincoln is like, don't push up, don't push up on me, bro. That was such a terrible accent. Oh my God. They're literally going back and forth out of nowhere. I just feel like this drama was so unnecessary. It did absolutely nothing, and it just let me know that this episode might be the downhill, well, the final downhill of Chris, and also might be the nail in poor Lincoln's, you know, he might be on his way out. Jason interrupts this argument and it's just like, okay guys, I'm gonna go get ready for my date. Like, kind of like, y'all keep arguing while I go secure this rose. Okay. Jason and Becca meet up. Today, her and Jason are going to be exploring. They're gonna be doing random things. I'm just like, here go that budget again. Yeah. Stop doing these random, they're bouncing around doing random things, dates. I'm so tired. I'm so sick of these. I'm so sick of it. On the agenda for the day is they're going to go to St. John's Church. And now Becca mentioned this is where the speech of give me liberty or give me death happened. This is where Edgar Allan Poe's mom was buried. Just all of these things that just reminded me of how trash American history was for people, Black people in general. And all of these scenes, if I would have went on this date, I would have been super uncomfortable. I would just been like, this ain't my history. Give me liberty. Give me the our Black people were oppressed. So this history, this ain't real, you know, American solid history. This would have had me side-eyeing the whole damn time. I would have been like, no, sis, this is when, you know, we weren't slaves. And this is where Black people were on plantations. I would have made all them uncomfortable, because this history lesson they're trying to give would not have flown with me. Absolutely not. They do go inside and explore the church. It is a gorgeous cathedral church. To add on to the randomness that is this date, they go to the back. Let's just assume it's in the back of the church, which is even more weird. They go to the back and they're making donuts. How do you go from Edgar Allan Poe's mom was buried here, give me liberty or give me death, to you want some donuts? I got some in the back. What tourist package did y'all find this in? Because it's not correlating, it's not making sense, but we're just gonna rock with it. They're just enjoying each other's company, frosting donuts, stuffing it in each other's faces, throwing it at each other. She loves how open he is. She loves how exciting he is to be around, and how he's just so much fun and so easygoing. She loves his energy in that way, and it's making her like him even more. So I'm like, maybe the donuts did a little magic. The sprinkles did a little something, but I didn't understand how that. The third part of this date gets even weirder. I know, how is that possible? They are now outdoors and they are with a bunch of people in black, and these people are freaking chanting. They are talking about death. They're talking about gory, dark things, and they tell them that this is an unhappy hour. Nothing here is happy. Nothing here is sacred. Everything here is about dark and death and everything, and they are just like, it's so... So they toast to being unhappy, and Jason gets down with them on the ground as they're doing the splits and doing all these, you know, movements and things like that. Like, again, another part of the date that what can Jason do but just try to hang on. I truly felt bad for the guy in this moment, because I'm just like, oh, who wants to be here? Becca takes Jason to a bar and surprises him with a couple of his closest friends. Now, when he walks in that bar, Jason, he damn near started crying. He saw his friends, he hugged them so tight, man. And it just reminds me of like just a time where you're like away from your closest allies, your closest friends, your family, even for a few days with no communication. Like when you're coming back from camp and you're super emotional to see your like family and friends, and you start crying. Like you wouldn't normally cry, but just having that lack of connection, you're just like, I'm so happy to see somebody from the other side. Becca basically asked them like, what's he like? And they're just like, you know what? He is the real deal. He is a good guy. What you see is what you get. And every quality, whatever you've seen in him that you like, that's who he is. And I was just like, y'all better gas your friend. Y'all better gas your friend. Like, what friend is gonna be like, you know what? He ain't shit. You know, he really no good. He actually cheated on his last 2 girlfriends. I saw just how serious those guys were when they said those words. And it made me believe that they truly feel that Jason is a stand-up guy. And I was impressed. I was definitely very impressed with this encounter. We do hear in her confessional that this whole date has just made her feel at home. Becca does use those words a lot to kind of relate to saying that I like what I'm seeing and I can see this fitting into my life. They end up on their dinner date part. She again mentions how much she likes the fact that he makes the most of his time, that she always just feels good vibes from him, and she feels like she knows where he stands every single time they hang out. She asked him, what makes you you? Like, how did you get to be this type of guy with this great energy? Where did you learn that from? And we do hear Jason go into a story about his dad. So Jason talks about how his dad one day asked him to come to the nursing home to see his grandmother. His dad greets his mom, and his mom was just kind of like, who are you? So his grandmother did not remember his dad. But he knew from that moment that it was just like, wow, you cannot take anything for granted. That was the moment Jason realized how important it is to value your family and value your friends. Like it's more important than anything. That experience was the pivot in his life of understanding what's important in life. Now this really completely opens up Becca. You could see it on her face. At first I thought the story was a little, you know, too distant from him. I thought, okay, that's about your dad, whatever. But when he fully told the story, I finally saw the connection, and I was like, wow, that is such a cool connection piece that you're able to offer up. You saw someone so close to you lose a big part of them, that relationship with their parent. And I think that was so powerful, and it really prompted Becca to open up. I lost my dad at 19. It really hurt to try to figure out what was going on with him. He got sick when she was 14 years old, and the doctors told her family that her dad was only going to have 6 months to live. Luckily enough, he ended up living up until the 5 years, and she felt like it all kind of happened in the timing it was supposed to happen, because she was home for the summer and she was able to take care of him in his last moments, and she was there when he passed. And so she really opens up about just how hard that was on her, and being so young and having to deal with such a big loss. But also it made her really value and appreciate her relationships and put a lot of time and effort into the people around her. She mentions how Jason's friend said, you know, if you're a friend to him, then you're our friends. And she really made that connection, because she told, I'm guessing, Ari the same thing about how her friends are his friends if they're together. And she just sees the qualities that she has in Jason. And this is their biggest connection, the fact that they value the same things. And I think in this date, it really hooked me in. It hooked me in to see just two people who genuinely love people. They love to get to know people. They value relationships. And in this moment, I see them valuing each other and acknowledging those qualities that they both love in each other. Was just such a sweet moment. It definitely made me see why she's so into Jason. It gave me a little bit of like, oh my gosh, that's super cute. And I think that Jason is the most normal at this point. He's the most practical, and to me he just seems the most easygoing and genuine. She values what he values, and he likes what she likes, and they're able to connect on those things, and it's definitely bringing them closer together. So I definitely see why at the end of this date, Becca picks up that rose and says, I've had such a good time with you. I love getting to know you, and I just love where we are. And she offers him the rose, and he accepts it. So this connection is definitely secure. I think of all of them, it's the one that makes me feel like, okay, this is growing at a very good pace. This is someone that I think helps ground Becca and kind of bring her back into what real dating looks like. So I was definitely impressed with Jason, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future with them. I think he is a contender at this point, and I liked what I saw. I'm fine. Y'all know I've been struggling like hell with the men, and I told you I didn't like none of them, but seeing this date definitely gave me some hope for what Becca has in front of her. So good job, Jason. Back with the group of guys, we see that another date card has arrived, and the date card is red, and it is a group date. Now, everyone but Leo is gonna be on this date. So Leo is getting a one-on-one. We haven't seen much from him thus far, but he's obviously still here for a reason. So I'm super excited to see what happens on his date, but we gotta go on this group date, y'all. We gotta see what they gonna do with these men in Richmond, okay? We got to see. The guys arrive at this location, and there is a bunch of actors dressed up like presidents. We see one actor introduce himself as George Washington, the other introduces himself as Abraham Lincoln, and they're just like telling them about some American history. Now, they mentioned to the guys that they are going to be doing a debate for Becca's love. They are trying to debate for her hand. And I'm just like, how many people is this gonna be in front of? Because I can already see the mess is about to happen. We see the guys get lined up on a stage. They all have their own podium, and this is true debate style. They are at the first annual Becca election. The first person to ask a question is actually the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I was like, okay, we finally seeing somewhere that y'all spent your coins. I see it. Governor does ask Colton what would be an ideal date that he would take Becca on in Virginia. And Colton says something about they will go to a dog park with their dogs and that would be how they built their relationship. I'm just like, basic. Next, Chris Harrison asked the group, does anyone feel like someone is not being transparent in this process? Blake takes the very diplomatic route and says, yes, I feel everyone has been transparent from what I could see, and this is a solid group of guys. Chris cannot say the same thing. He goes on to say, I can say I've been transparent, but I can't say the same about all these guys that are here. Becca has been through enough, and a lot of these guys are out here frauding and faking on her. And as if the shots hit him directly, pow pow, Lincoln is like, I mean, I don't think he's talking about me, but then Chris jumps in and is like, actually, you're one of the people I'm talking about. And I'm just like, Lord, it's going off track. It's going off track quick. It's going off track quick. You are exactly who I'm talking about. You are not who you say you are. You have been very ruthless to me. You have spread lies about me. You have brought up my past weight and body shamed me. And you're just not a great guy. And he's just going at him. And Lincoln is trying to rebuttal and obviously clear his name. And they keep panning to Becca. And Becca looks pissed. She looks like, why are these guys doing this in front of everyone? And the rest of the guys on the stage are just like, they're just quiet as hell. It's radio silence beside Lincoln and freaking Chris going at it. That again is such a terrible move. Like, I get so embarrassed when people air dirty laundry in public, and it's just like, there's just certain things you don't do in public. And the fact that Chris felt the need to really answer that question truthfully, like, this is politics. Fucking lie. Like, what the fuck? He felt the need to really air how he was feeling, like telling the truth on the question. Like, what are you doing? Lie. His spiral is really it's really almost all the way unraveled, and it's not looking too good for the kid, okay? So we're at the cocktail party, and we do see Becca in her confessionals talking about how pissed she is. She is so upset with the fact that these guys air dirty laundry in front of everyone, and that the drama is so petty and consistently ongoing with Chris. Chris has started off on the wrong foot last week, and everything that he's doing is not making his status better. She's annoyed, but she promises herself that she's going to try to push through that annoyance and still give the other guys a chance at this cocktail party. She greets the guys, and the first person to ask to grab her is Lincoln. Now, it seems like Lincoln is using this as damage control, because he pulls her to the back and is just like, basically, I'm so sorry for what happened at the Becca election. I wasn't expecting him to attack me like that. But with Chris, I just feel physically threatened. I feel like a lot of the guys feel the same way. And it's just a thing that's been building up. And I don't understand why he's like where he's at now. Like, it's just been getting progressively worse. And Becca's just like, really? Like, you really think something has been going on with him? Like, y'all all feel that way? And Lincoln is just like, yeah, he even if you ask Connor, he moved out because he was so uncomfortable. So Lincoln is just looking like a real petty ass person right now, talking about how uncomfortable the guys are, and again mentioning how physically threatened he feels. Like, Lincoln, shut the hell up. Your big ass is not threatened about nothing. This is the second time Lincoln has told Becca that another guy intimidates him, and it just makes him look like a little bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to say it. What are you doing? He did the same thing when Connor threw his picture in the water. He went back and told Becca, oh, I'm so scared. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're playing your cards wrong, and it's real annoying. Chris does come in to interrupt Lincoln's time, and they start talking. And you could already tell that Becca has been over Chris. The stance she takes with him is that I've heard some things about you, that you're intimidating and that you're scary to be around. And he's just like, what are you talking about? Who told you that about me? And she's just like, I've heard this, I've seen certain things with you, and I'm just not comfortable with how everything has been going. Now, one thing I will say that kind of annoys me with Becca is that when she's annoyed with someone, she really doesn't give them a chance to like change her mind. Not that that's a bad thing, because it depends on who you are and how much you can tolerate. But I do feel like once she has made her opinion, like her opinion up, she poses it in a very accusatory way. And it, of course, is going to put the person on defense, and they're going to be very aggressive and defensive about it. I don't really like that. It's almost like a baiting. And then you're surprised when the person is like, what the, that's not true, you know? Like, nobody likes to be lied on. And I definitely think like Becca could handle it a little bit better. I think she should pose it more of, how are you doing? I've heard some concerning things. Do you feel it? Open-ended questions. Like, do you have any issues with the guys? Do you feel like any of the guys have tension with you? But just coming up to him and being like, people are scared to be around you, and expecting him to respond in a positive way is kind of naive a little bit, and it really annoys me a little bit. But at the same time, Chris annoys me too, so I can't really be too annoyed. But anyway, he is just denying. He's like, who said that?
Who had been saying that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Who had been saying that?
That's not true. I feel like all I do is defend myself these days. These guys, all they want to do is argue. All of these things are not true. I don't like this. And she's just like, did Connor not move out of your room because he was intimidated? And he's just like, that is a lie. Like, that is a lie. No, he didn't. I really feel uncomfortable hearing these things about me. And she's just like, you make me uncomfortable too. So this time between Chris is not really going well. All they're able to really establish is that Chris is making people uncomfortable, and Becca is basically letting him know that his length in this game is shortening by the second. Garrett does come in to try to interrupt the conversation, and Chris makes his way out of the room, and she looks to Garrett and says, can I have 5 minutes? Like, I need to get myself together. And I think at that moment, that's when precious little Garrett was just like, what? I'm your Garrett. What do you mean 5 minutes? What do you mean? No. You're sending me out? Like, I'm your Garrett. Garrett was gravely humbled. He was not expecting for her to do that, and it set him off. He returned to the group and was just like, whatever you said back there pissed her off, and it's looking like it's going to ruin the rest of our nights and our times that we were supposed to have with her. So y'all too are annoying as hell, and whatever annoying arguments you need to not affect Becca, because that's affecting me. Like, he was just not here for it. And of course, all Chris can talk about is the fact that Becca told him that people feel intimidated, and he confronts Connor and is like, Connor, did you say that you moved out because you were scared of me? And Connor's just like, no, I didn't say that. Lincoln jumps in and was just like, I said that. Yeah, I said that. So you told her that Connor moved out because he was scared. And he was like, no, I just told her that Connor moved out. I never said you were intimidating. I said I was intimidated by you, and I said Connor moved out. Yes, I did say those things. So whatever she drew from that is what she drew from it. I'm just like, Lincoln is such a little shit starter. And it's so freaking annoying. Becca does come back out like she promised. She comes and grabs Garrett. They go to the back and they have conversations. He does mention that he just wants to be the person to cheer her up. He wants to make her feel warm. And he talks about how he had fun at the date, even though she might not have had fun at the Becca election. And he reads her what he would have said for his closing statements had shit not gone awry. And it looks like their conversation went pretty well. It wasn't as warm and fluffy as their chemistry usually is. And that could be due to the fact that Becca was super upset with everything that went down with Lincoln and Chris. She did have small conversations with the other guys. Colton, they had a little warm and fuzzy conversation. We also saw her talk to Blake, and they are obviously so lovey-dovey. They're always all over each other, and it doesn't really feel this time. She does come back to the group and announces that she's about to give out the group date rose. She says that the group date rose is going to someone that always makes her feel happy, makes their time just so fun, and makes her feel like a princess. So at this point, I'm thinking she's going to call out Blake because, again, their chemistry is usually that. He's usually super caring. He's usually very attentive and super affectionate with his body language and his words. But she mentions that the group date rose is going to Colton. I'm gone. Bye. I don't know how he's made it this far. I don't know how he continues to make it this far. And it's alarming and it's scary, and it makes me feel like Becca completely ignores fundamental red flags. And I'm not liking it. I'm not liking this at all. I'm not liking it one bit. I don't understand how he got group rose over all the other guys. And if anything, it's super annoying. Like, I'm super annoyed right now. She feels like every single time a group date happens, something always happens on the date. Like, somebody is always arguing or some tea always comes out, and she's just super annoyed with how these group dates have been going, and it always leaves her emotionally scarred going into her next one-on-one. Becca is excited about Leo. She feels like there's something there between them, and she doesn't want to be preoccupied on their date, but she can't help but be affected by everything that's gone on this group date. And for me, that's just super annoying to hear. I used to think that when she would say that, like she said the same thing when she was going on the date with Wills, I used to think that was like a cop-out way of her trying to like be nice about sending that guy home that she was going on the one-on-one with, or that's a nice way of saying she has doubts with the guy she's going on the one-on-one with. Tension and drama seem to really be weighing on her, and it just makes me so sad that this is how her process has been going. There's just been a lot of trashness, that she shouldn't have to be dealing with, and my heart breaks for her in that way. I'm just hoping that she can put it to the side and Leo could have a pretty solid date, and we can start to see if there's chemistry between her and Leo. They meet up, hug each other super tight, and we're hearing how Leo is saying in his confessionals that he is super excited about Becca. He doesn't know how she really feels about him. I'm guessing that means that he hasn't really got signs or words of affirmation from her that she's super interested in him, and he just wants to see what the hell am I doing here? He wants to know that by the end of this date. And on the flip side, we're hearing Becca say she wants to know if they have chemistry. She feels like they have something, but she wants to know if there's true chemistry with Leo. The first part of their date is they are going to get a helicopter ride over the Chesapeake Bay. Now I'm super excited. This is typical bachelorette activity dates, and I think this is the stuff I'm looking for when I see a bachelor date. They're flying over beautiful scenery, like it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and I think it's so intimate, and you would think that in this moment there would be chemistry and sparks flying and maybe, you know, them looking into each other's eyes, but we're getting none of that. We're getting a detached Becca. She's looking outside of the window, and we're hearing her confirm just what I'm thinking in her confessional. She's saying, even though we're up in the air, this should be so romantic, right now it's not, because I'm just so mentally away right now, and it's super unfair to Leo, but I'm enjoying the sights with them, and I'm hoping that the next portion of their date will go a lot better than this, because this shit was just dry. It was so silent, and it was so dry. They do go into the next portion of their date, and they are going to be shucking oysters. Now, this date part is pretty cool, I must say. I've never really done that, and I've never seen them do that. I can't really remember if they've done that before, so it was definitely fresh and kind of cool. It allowed them to get a little bit dirty and change, you know, clothes, but it also allowed them to do an activity together, which I think is the best part of having these one-on-ones, when they get time to do something and talk. They put on this gear over their clothes that allows them to walk in the water, and they're just looking for oysters. And once they find them, they just eat them like that. You said what? From right out of the, like right out of the water, we eat them. First of all, y'all know oysters. Y'all know what oysters do. I was just like, how many of you those are y'all eating, first of all? And second of all, like, aren't y'all gonna clean them, boil them, do something? It couldn't be me. It could not be me. It looks like Becca is more into this part of the date. She's pushing him. She's just like, they're kind of ribbing each other, like roasting each other a little bit, and they're eating the oysters together. And so we're seeing that there's some sort of chemistry, there's some sort of excitement, there's some sort of interaction that didn't happen in the first part of the date that is happening now. And I think it was really cool to see that chemistry start to pick up. We're hearing in her confessionals how she's saying that, oh my gosh, this is what I was looking for. I'm super excited with how this is going. I love the fact that he can open up and have so much fun, and he's such a genuine guy. And they're back there just talking about what they look for, what they value. And Leo's really talking about how he values, you know, connections. He values having a good time. He values a partner who is there when you're sad. And she really tells him that she was having a difficult day and that this time really cheered her up. And he really agrees and mentions how he feels like a partner should lift you up and should make you happy and not bring you down. So they connect on that, and it looks like the date is headed in the right direction. So I'm super excited to see what they talk about at dinner. Now we're at dinner, and they are sitting, you know, having a nice little romantic time or whatever. Leo really mentions how he just wants to be there for Becca. He just wants to be there for a partner. And that's what he really feels like a partnership should be. He's seen that type of love and that type of respect and that type of companionship with his parents. He talks about how his parents have been married for 40 years and they've always encouraged each other and loved each other. And that's what he's had to look up to. She loves the fact that he is such a comforting person. He is someone who is just there. He is just someone who's going to have your back. He's so reliable. And she's really giving him these compliments about how she didn't really know what was all there with him, and that's why she gave him the date. And she's really feeling like in this date she's learned that he is just such a super genuine guy who has a lot to offer someone. It's looking like the energy of this dinner date is, for me, it's going well. I don't see overwhelming chemistry. I don't feel like she's super into him. I feel like in the moment as they're building those conversations, she's realizing that she likes him as a person, and she likes just what he represents, and she likes the fact that he's so loyal and he's so willing to be just there for her. He even mentions that no matter what happens, I want to be there for you. I will be there for you. And that, to me, I'm like, you're a bomb ass guy, and nothing can make me think otherwise. From everything he's shown me thus far, he just seems so genuine and like he would be there for her. But when I'm looking at the chemistry, I was thinking like, oh my God, he might be going home. She's looking a little scared, a little timid. She's looking a little bit like unsure. And I just felt like the chemistry was there, but it wasn't like the y'all know what I'm talking about, like that heart-wrenching, heart-gushing. And I really thought the signs were that she was going to send him home. But she does the opposite. She mentions how she loves where their connection is. She likes him. She likes where they're going. And she feels like this date just solidified that she's into him and she wants to see where else they can grow into. And so she picks up that rose and she offers him the rose, and he, of course, accepts. Again, y'all, I'm a little concerned about this connection when I'm comparing it to the other relationships. I see it progressing a lot slower than the other ones. And I think if this was normal life, if this was the real world, Leo could be a really cool contender for Becca. But in this process, I don't think that he can catch up in the time that's left. And I don't think he's going to be lasting much longer. I was actually super surprised that he got this rose, but that does not take away from the fact that I think he is such a cool guy. We got to know so much more about him, and it just made me like really fuck with him harder. And I really like him, but I don't think he's going to last much longer, which is sad to say, but he did make it through this week. So congratulations, Leo. Back at the guys' hotel rooms, and we see the handlers coming in to pick up the bags. We hear Chris saying if Leo comes back, he feels like he's on his way out. If Leo comes back, it's not looking good for him. Like his chips are not all in line and that this is going to kind of ruin his day and his plans for staying another week. So the handler does come in and she doesn't take Leo's bags. And all of the guys are just like, what? I think a lot of the guys thought that Leo was on his way out. I genuinely think they thought he was going to be gone. And so I think the screams were a little bit of shock and a little bit of like, really? But also like, we love him. That's our bro. So come back. We go with that. But Chris was not feeling it. He was shook. And at that moment, Chris decided that he has nothing else to lose. He has nothing else he can do at this point but go and talk to Becca. So he leaves the hotel room and says that he's headed up to Becca's room. And I'm just like, Chris, let me see. Exhibit A, Jean Blanc. There's examples for you to not. Ooh, child. Yeah, you gone. You gone, bro. He knocks on her door and she opens and she literally was looking like, she literally said probably 5 times, hey, what are you doing here? Hi, what are you doing here? Hi, what are you doing here? Hi, what are you doing here? She did not want to see him. She literally kept asking, what are you doing here? And he was just like, hi, I came to see you. I came to talk to you. I just wanted to get a little more time with you. And she's just like, okay. Her body language is screaming, no, I don't want to see you. He just says, I really want to come in and talk to you because I feel like every interaction we've had has been about the drama and I haven't gotten a chance to talk about how I feel about you. And I don't want us to end on that note. I just don't want it to end like that. So he tells Becca, I'm really into you. I really feel like I'm falling in love with you and I can see myself getting married to you. Getting to the point for 500, Alex, because he was clear and to the point. He said, you know what, I ain't playing no more games. I don't want to talk about nobody, but what I'm talking about right now is I'm into you and I'm trying to be your husband. So what's good? I could just see Becca trying to figure out how am I going to send this lunatic home? Like how am I going to get him out of here? I got to find a way. How did you get to that conclusion? From all the other times we've talked, it's been a rocky road. It's been the last couple of weeks back and forth. How did you do such a 180 in such a short amount of time? And he's just like, I've always felt like this. This is not out of nowhere. I think other things just started to overshadow our relationship. And I'm just here to tell you how I feel and I don't want us to go back. There's things I've been hearing. There's things I've been seeing personally. There's all of these things surrounding you that are just drama and scary and intimidation. And he's just like, well, for one, I need you to just forget about that because I'm pouring my heart out to you. So I need you to just forget about all those things you're telling me. And I was just like, Chris, that was the wrong thing to say. Like, you can't just tell somebody, like, I need you to get over it. Like, all the red flags that you're seeing, I need you to get over it. Like, you can't tell her that. I was just like, that sounds super controlling. Even that sentence sounds so aggressive. And I was just like, it's not going better. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. So she's just like looking at him like, okay, I'm really about to send you home. And he's just like, I am so into you. I'm sick of the drama and I want us to move forward. Like, I want us to get there and I don't I don't want to keep getting into this. I feel like I've been attacked this whole time. I'm constantly defending myself, and it's just not true. All of these things are coming from what other people are saying about me and not about me. I haven't attacked anyone. And she's just like, yeah, you have attacked a few people. You've done attacking, and you're not innocent in this. You have a part in the downfall of yourself. And she gets straight to the point and tells him, I don't think that I can continue like this. I think that just comparing this and looking at everything I've seen, everything I've heard, everything you've done publicly, it allows me to see that I don't think that this is going to work out. I'm just not going to get there with you. I don't think that I could ever fully fall for you. And I don't think we're a fit. And he was just like, what does that mean? What? That's like somebody telling you the sky is blue and you said, what color did you say it is? You're going home. I'm not into you. You're crazy and I'm done. And you asked her, wait, what? So she, very calmly repeats herself, and it's just like, I don't think we're going to get there. I don't see us getting there, and I don't want to be with you. Like, I don't want to be with someone like you. And there are signs that have been there, and you can try to say that, oh, they're lying on me, or oh, they're bringing the drama, but I've seen these things with my own 2 eyes, and it's cause for concern, and I just don't see myself making it there with you or gaining those feelings for you anymore. And can I walk you out? And he was just like, okay, but I don't need you to walk me out. And she was just like, no, I'm going to walk you out because I'm going to give you that respect. And he was like, seriously, I do not need you to walk me. I don't need you to do that, whatever. Like, basically saying, I don't need you to give me no pity, like, thing. And I was just like, you know what? He's big mad right now. I've never actually seen someone turn down the walkout. I always wondered how, if they're feeling super salty, how they, like, took that. But he really tries to tell her, I don't want you, I'm just done. You done with me? I'm done with you right now. Like, you could tell he's one of those people that he cannot take being one-upped. He couldn't take the rejection. He literally wasn't even going to allow her to, like, touch him or try to console him or do any of that. Like, the respect. He didn't want anything from her. And I was just like, okay, boy, you just gonna have to leave. Like, go. Goodbye. Like, I had so much faith in him. And I even said in my last recap how I felt like it was coming from a real genuine place of just being hurt. All of these emotions were just coming from a place of passion and him really liking her. And I still feel that way. Like, I still do feel like he got caught up in a lot of things and things just kept spiraling and they just made him look even worse. But at the same time, he could have handled things a lot better, especially this episode. He didn't have to air all that dirty laundry in front of that audience. He didn't have to go back and talk to Becca and basically just come on too strong. Like, I think he just kept trying to fix it. And it's like he should have gave room for things to kind of heal itself a little bit and been more pointed in telling Becca how he felt and really stayed away from drama. But he found himself in the drama again, and that is where I don't feel sorry for him. I do think that things got a little too messy. He's almost like the second mini villain of the season. He's going out salty, he's going out sad, and it just is what it is. Back in the room, the guys are getting ready for the cocktail party. Chris Harrison comes in and lets them know that unfortunately there won't be a cocktail party. Becca knows what she wants to do and they'll be beginning the rose ceremony soon. So, wow. At this point, I started to look at the amount of guys that were left, and I noticed, wow, this shit is way smaller than I realized. Like, there's only about 5 guys who don't have roses, and I'm just thinking, wow, we're about to really start getting down to the wire. We're getting really, really close to the end, and I really don't know if these connections are where they need to be. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried for the options that she still has, but I'm really hoping that in this next rose ceremony, she weeds out even more of the guys who just need to go. The guys get lined up. There's 3 roses. She calls Garrett, of course, Blake, of course, and the final rose is sitting on that table waiting to be given out, and we have Will still left. we have Connor still left, and we have Lincoln. Now at this point, I'm thinking Lincoln is pretty much gone just because of the drama, and I also feel like the connection has been dwindling over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been as strong since like maybe week 3, and he hasn't got as much camera time with his conversations with Becca, and he just comes off like a little baby who just reports everything that's going on in the house. So I'm like, you out. So I'm definitely thinking that the person who I really want to stay is Will's, because we've gotten so much good energy from him in the past couple of episodes, and I think that I really want to see where their connection continues to go. So Becca picks up that final rose, and she announces that it will be going to Will's. And oh my God, I screamed so loud. I was so excited. But at the same time, that means Connor is going home. Connor, he is super handsome, but I don't think he made as big of a splash as I was hoping for. I think he would have been super cute. Like, I think aesthetically, him and Becca could have looked really cute together, but I just never saw any real down-ass conversations. He never got a one-on-one. He was always on the group dates, but like, he was just kind of there. And I figured that, you know, that connection, you're gonna need to put in more effort, and I'm gonna need to see more if you're gonna make it into the end. I'm not super shocked that he went home this episode. Also, along with Lincoln, I'm not shocked about that either. And it's just like, wow, we're really getting closer to the end. And all I can do is really think about what are the connections that are left. We have Blake, who I think is probably the most solid, the one she's the most into. I think that rivals pretty closely with Garrett, and Blake are like the top 2 contenders, but I don't feel emotionally attached to either one of them. So I'm hoping that that will kind of build over time. I obviously can never root for Garrett for obvious reasons, but I'm going to still be as objective as I can in looking at the connections and assessing it. When it comes to Wills and Jason and Leo, I think that I'm just looking at it like, oh, we're gonna need to see more from you. I think they have like a good base, but at this point, I need to start seeing the middle of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just need a base. I don't need foundation. I need the whole top coat. The top coat should be coming real close. You know what I'm saying? Jason is a little closer to getting the whole house built, but I'm also still kind of like, will they work out long term? I don't know. I'm keeping my eye out on each connection. When it comes to Colton, it's a no. You already know I feel it's a no. It's a whole ass no. The picks are very low at this point. I have no pick out of these guys. I'm sorry. When it comes to someone she needs to marry, I don't want any of these guys for her. I think the closest I can pick is Blake, because Blake or Jason based on this episode. But they even still need to convince me further. Next week, they are going to the Bahamas, so that is going to be a good one, y'all. I'm expecting bomb-ass, blue-ass water, beautiful, gorgeous shots, and better dates than they did this episode. Don't try it again, ABC, because you know I will drag you if you don't. That is my week 6 recap. Oh my God, I made it through. The sun didn't set on me this week. Y'all, just take a moment for that. Woo! Thank you so much again to each and every one of you for riding with the kid, coming back every week. I already know at this point you done liked, but just in case you haven't, make sure you like this video, share this video, share a little. And before you leave a comment. I know you might have some thoughts on what I have talked about this episode. I know you might disagree or agree. Let me know in the comments. I'm always there to respond and rebuttal and get it popping, okay? So let me know how you're feeling. You definitely use my hashtag VGWWTV. If you haven't subscribed already, like, what are you doing exactly? Like, what are you doing? Subscribe. Stop playing. Like, what? I will see you in my next video. Okay? Y'all be good this week.